Now, for what's tipping the scales of justice, could a plea deal be in the works for teen defendant Carly Gregg, accused of murdering her own mother, trying to kill her stepfather? Those are the accusations. She's back in court tomorrow for a pretrial hearing. The judge has ruled her competent. She was 14 when she allegedly shot and killed her mom and then tried to kill her stepdad. Her trial set to begin next month, but prosecutors say they're open to giving her a plea offer. If she goes to trial, you'd have to wonder, would her youthful appearance tip the scales? Let's bring in jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine and forensic psychologist Dr. John Delatorre. Great to see you both. Let's start with the optics. What's going on the outside? Susan, what do you think when you look at this young lady?
Well, my first initial response is that it looked creepy to me, okay? When you think about the jury and they're looking at this young child, they're trying to decipher what the attorneys were trying to stage. In other words, this young little girl, they have probably young children and teenagers themselves. Do they look like this when they go to school? So the fact that they put her in this little jumper with a Peter Pan collar, I feel is overplayed, staged, and appears manipulative.
I like what you're saying there, Susan. I mean, she looks like she's wearing a Catholic schoolgirl uniform. That's what it reminded me of when I saw her. And then you hear the charges. My gosh. Dr. John, the charges, what was going on in here? That's the other thing everybody wants to know. We know you haven't personally evaluated Carly Gregg, but what do you think might be going on with her?
It's one of those things that the defense actually did have an expert, and I'd be super excited to see what that report ends up looking like. But it's important to understand that there's no mental disorder that would lead someone to engage in an act of violence the way that she did. Now, there could be an argument could be made about the medication that was changed, and yes, there has been suicidality associated with teenagers and using antidepressants, but it's not homicidality, and we don't even know what the underlying condition was. Was it depression? Was it some kind of schizophrenia? All of those things would be super rare in someone that's 14 years old to be experiencing them so intensely that they need medication. It's also possible that she's being over medicated. There's so much more that we need to learn about her mental health that could have contributed in an ancillary way to her committing this act, but still she chose to do this. You didn't accidentally shoot a gun off.
Exactly, Dr. John. I've got a clip from one of the pretrial hearings where investigators talking about the medication changing for Carly Gregg.
I believe she had been taking Lexapro.
And do you know how long she had been taking Lexapro for?
It was, to my understanding, she had changed it at the end of the week beforehand, but not sure the exact date.
The end of the week before the incident?
Yes, in the prior week, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. John, could the medication change be enough to then have a murder happen?
No, not even a little bit. I mean, it doesn't. Now, you put any psychiatrist on there, and if they say that it did, then they're probably just kind of like a hired gun for this, because the time, she would still have a therapeutic dose, even if she changed her medication. She would still have a therapeutic dose inside her bloodstream. So if it's just a week and she changes to something else, then no, that's not possible. These kinds of thoughts and desires and wants have been happening for a long period of time. It was just now she lost her ability to actually stop herself from doing it.
I appreciate that, Dr. John. Back to Carly Gregg's appearance. I can remember that first day when she was in court for her arraignment. I'm sure you both can remember the image too, because it was circulated. And she's sitting in the jury box, because sometimes judges will have defendants go in the jury box before they're ready to be called if court isn't quite in session yet, or they're waiting for their case. And she's sitting there, and there are a bunch of older men, charged with whatever, and they're looking at her like, I'm sure, like, child, do you belong in here? I mean, you look so young, and like, what did you do? I'm sure nobody's thinking, she might be the only one in the jury box who did a homicide. Susan, tell me, when we think about the looks, might this be playing in terms of her treatment in the courtroom? I wonder if anybody might treat her any differently because of the way she appears.
Yeah, I think that there's truth to that, Julie. When they look at her, they look and they see a young little girl with this little pumpkin face and this little bob, She looks very innocent. And so with that being said, there could be a shift in how they see her and how they treat her. But when we look at her demeanor, now she's smiling. Off camera, she's smiling. But most of the time, she's very stoic. Those jurors are looking at her and they're thinking, what went wrong in her life? What would have created this hatred towards her mother? And I think that medication, I think mental illness and all that will play in it. And I think that there's going to be some sympathy when it comes to that. But then you look at all of the language that she used and what she was telling other students, that how much she hated her mother, that she was going to kill her. So when you take those words, these are the thoughts that has been percolating through her head. And this is what we call preeminent violence. When they start sharing this language to other people, are precursors of carrying out this violent act. And that's why it's so important to take it seriously. The first time, not the second or third time, and where they think maybe she's feeling angst towards her mother. The fact that she said, I want to kill my mother multiple times, take her at her word. When are we going to learn, Julie? When are we going to stop and start taking action?
Yes.
This has got to, yes, I'm so over it.
Preach.
It's like every time I am on here and I'm thinking, I train and use a program called Decipher, which is with language.
Susan, we're about out of time. We got about 15 seconds.
Okay.
No, but thank you. We'll have you back to talk more about your program. We love talking to you and Dr. John Delatorre. Thank you both. We're going to be right back.